On this episode of Cooking at the College, we're going to be making garlic buttered shrimp with Pete Sierra, and Chef Eric is here with the pasta, so be sure to tune in and check out this very first episode of Cooking at the College. Hi, I'm Jason Donner, and welcome to the very first episode of Cooking at the College. And I'm joined here by Pete and Eric. Pete, tell us about yourself.
Well, my name is Peter Sierra. I work here at WKCTC at Workforce Solutions, apprenticeship coordinator, but I wear many hats over there in that department.
Okay. And Eric, how about you?
So I'm Chef Eric England. I'm the Dean of the Applied Technologies Division here at WKCTC. And chef instructor for about 9 years now.
All right, great. Well, this is the very first episode, so we think we know how this is going to go. But first of all, let's just start with the dish, and then we'll talk and just kind of get to know Pete a little bit. What are we going to cook?
Well, we're going to cook a garlic buttered shrimp. When I was first called to do the show, one of my favorite dishes is shrimp. Because of where I grew up and where I lived on a coastal city in Puerto Rico. And this is one of the dishes that we did all the time since we went fishing for our own shrimp, for the most part. So we're going to cook this today.
Okay, great. You mentioned that you lived on the coast of Puerto Rico. Tell us about that.
Yeah, at the young age of 6 years old, we moved from Brooklyn, New York down to Puerto Rico. And back and forth for several years, but that's where mostly I grew up, and I grew up in the country and fishing in the rivers and the lakes and on the beach itself and the ocean. So I'm pretty much a seafood connoisseur. I just love seafood like crazy. So.
Everybody, you can't go wrong with shrimp, basically. Yeah. I think we should get started. What's the first step here?
Well, the first thing is to get very good quality shrimp if you can. The jumbo shrimp is what I used, and it already comes deveined, and with the shell, we deshell them, but usually back at home we leave the shell in it because we have come to taste that by leaving the shell on, all of the butter and the garlic starts building up within the shell and the shrimp itself. So we just take the shell itself, we suck the juices out of it and then eat the shrimp. So, but in this particular case, we're just going to go ahead and cook deshelled shrimp.
Right, okay.
So basically it's just having 2 pounds is what I have today of the shrimp, and we're going to melt the butter and use the pan skillet to be able to cook it in the oven for about 25 minutes.
Right. Well, let me ask Chef Eric. When you live on the coast, fish and all seafood, it really becomes a part of the diet. But this is something that everybody just universally loves. How important do you think shrimp is just to cook?
And especially individuals that do live on the coastline. I mean, it's not just diet; it's integrated into their culture. It's integrated into family traditions, and just becomes a part of life. And all food is really kind of built in that same way. It's the one thing that really kind of binds us and brings us all together is food.
Exactly. It's a big deal to people. And it's something we have to do every day too.
Yeah.
All right, so what's the next step?
Well, next step is what we're going to do is this technique that I've learned is using an iron skillet to be able to place the shrimp. Today we're going to use the oven, but you can either use a grill with a cover, with a housing cover over it, so it can get that smoky taste if you really want that smoky taste on the shrimp. But we just use the skillet, and then we saute it with the butter, or we pour the butter all over it and all of the ingredients, and place it in the oven for about 25 minutes or so. So it's a very quick dish to make. I mean, you can snap it in about 30 minutes and you're ready to eat.
Right.
So what we want to be able to do is just to take the shrimp itself and start placing it around the skillet.
Now you're really organizing it there.
Yeah.
It looks like it's
going
to be some production there.
It is going to be some production, and that's why I got
Does that
somewhat
really
of a
help the cooking process? That they're lined up?
Not necessarily. It's just more aesthetics or to make
More
it look
fun that way
to make
anyway.
it look nice
Yeah.
and so forth. So
And remember that, people eat with their eyes
Yeah.
first. So aesthetics is
Yeah.
just as important as flavor, as textures, as other things as well.
Okay. How many you got there? 30?
this
30?
is about 50 here.
50.
Yeah, 2 pounds is about anywhere between 40 and 50 shrimp.
Poor little guys.
Yeah,
So wonderful. So
they're,
wonderful.
they are they
They're
are
like a
one, they're-
one bite
they are wonderful on the
sacrifice.
eyes.
Yeah. I did not grow up eating like this. I never ever ate any seafood
No.
outside of catfish. Just a traditional
You know,
thing.
the greatest part of being able to live in a place where you can catch these for free. You don't have to buy them like here in the United States.
I know. Well, that was part of it because it's just the cost.
Yeah.
Well, and I grew up on the coastline too, and I remember going out Friday night with my dad and
Yeah.
laying down lobster traps.
Oh yeah.
And then Sunday morning we would go back out again and pick them up, and we would have lobster dinner on Sundays.
All right. He's getting to the middle circle. He's going to finish it out.
Yeah.
You did make it very nice. That is attractive. Organizational powers.
Yeah, and if
You're
you're
getting down to the end where it's a little crowded now.
Yeah,
The
when you-
tails are twisting.
when you get it out of the oven and people see this at the table, they're like,
Yeah.
wow.
Okay. Well, I
so-
guess if you set the whole pan down there,
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
just want to take it. Yeah.
Does it get a little caramelized at the bottom?
Yeah, a little bit. Not much, but a little bit. And then we'll just take some more and we'll just place it up on top.
So, Chef Eric, like you see, like really big shrimp sometimes. Do they just tend to? Do they taste the same? I guess. Like I want the big ones, but I think somehow those are going to not be as flavorful or something. What's the best size to eat? Put it that way.
So, the best size, something like this, which is what we would call a 16-20, means that there's 16 to 20 in a pound.
Oh, okay.
Then, you have another grade that's up
Yeah.
from that, and you call them U10s. So, meaning that under 10 in a pound.
Right.
And that's how we, grade shrimp. But as far as, size, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Those
They all
really big
taste
ones?
wonderful.
Right.
But there is a difference between, warm water shrimp and cold water
Yep.
shrimp as well.
So once we get this in the pan, pretty much we just set it over to the side. And then the next part would be pretty much melting our butter with all of the spices.
Okay.
So then like that, we pour it all over that. So that's going to be the next step that we're going to take.
Okay. Well,
which is
then we're going to
put-
take a break, and we'll go over there and get set up, and then we'll be right back. So we are coming back now, and we're going to melt some butter. We got the fire going here, Pete. So what do we need to do?
Just
stick
go
of
ahead
butter?
and hand me the butter sticks. We're going to use, for the amount of shrimp that we have, I'm going to go ahead and use 2 sticks of butter
All right.
over low heat.
Take that. Yes.
And then we're going to start adding some of the condiments in there. I'm using sea salt.
This one right here.
Yep, this one right here. So we're just going to use to taste just a little bit of sea salt. Butter is salty as it is. Garlic powder.
This one.
Yep,
All right.
the garlic powder.
Garlic is just no fail.
No fail at all.
It can't
Yep.
do no wrong.
And then let's add the minced garlic, which is covered.
Covered one?
Yep.
Okay.
There you go.
Take that. Yeah. Okay, so how's that different? Oh, that's like fresh
This is
chopped.
a fresh chopped minced garlic.
Okay. All right. So is that going to totally disintegrate, or will that stay?
No, that'll stay.
You'll taste that.
It'll be-
You'll be able to notice
You'll
it.
be able to actually crunch on it too.
Right.
And let me get the red seasoning.
This right here.
That one right here.
whoops. Yeah. What's that?
This one is called sazon, which is a seasoning that has coriander and also a little bit of, in Spanish is achote. So in English is asante.
know that one?
Achiote
Yeah,
is always what I hear.
Yeah. And this is just for the flavor, but also
What-
for the coloring.
Right.
Yeah, for the coloring.
Is that like it's going to heat it up?
No,
Is it
no
hot?
heat. No heat. The only place where you're going to get the heat is from the red crushed peppers.
Yeah. Want that? Okay.
Yep, the red crushed peppers. You're just going to add some flakes in there. Oh, this is,
Oh, you got a new one.
yeah, it's a new one.
That's the pesky one.
Yes. That's okay because now I
You
can,
got it.
two
Pete,
seal.
you need a knife now.
Yeah, really.
Stick the spoon
Stick
in
the
it.
knife.
There you go. That's how I do it, yeah.
There we go.
Whatever's around.
There we go.
Okay.
Just the red crushed peppers, just
Yeah,
enough
that
in
will
there
be
to
a little hot
get to
now.
taste.
All right.
And let me get the paprika, the other one.
Other one?
Yep, that one right
Okay.
there.
Is that new?
And this
that
is
new,
going
Pete?
to be ground paprika. Nope, it's
Okay,
not.
good.
Just again, just
That's
a little tad to
Yeah.
flavor, and that's it. And pretty much, we'll just start.
This is a lot.
Moving
Is
this
it
around.
not? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Does it seem like a lot of spices, or you just doesn't
Yeah, but-
matter? It could
yeah.
be. It could be 20 spices.
Yeah, but the flavor is
Or what do you think, Chef?
wonderful.
So, you know, cooking is all about, you know, complex flavors. It's all about,
Yeah.
well, what I tell the students is think more three-dimensionally rather than two-dimensionally.
Right.
The more, you know, flavor, the more balance, the more, you know, boldness from that, the more spectacular that is going to be.
Right.
But this
Okay.
gives, you know, by cooking those spices in the butter allows a lot of those essential oils from those spices to come out.
Right. Yeah. The butter kind of
and
attaches to it.
really infused
Right.
into that butter. So
So you just are we ready to,
yeah, we're ready.
pour it on?
We're ready to pour it on,
Okay.
and we all want to make sure that we just try to get as
Yeah,
much
if
as
you
we
could-
can on
oh,
there.
It's like spices are there. I can feel it.
You can actually start smelling the spices.
Yeah.
And once you get that all nice and poured in there, you want to make sure that you get all of the garlic and the red crushed peppers and everything all around in there.
So is this something that your family made? I guess did your mother made this?
Actually, my mom taught me how to cook ever since I was about 9 years old.
Yeah.
Due to the fact that she had a heart condition and was constantly in the hospital. So, you know, I would talk to her on the phone and she would tell me, take this and take that,
Oh, okay.
so
You
much
would
of
be
this
cooking
and so
as-
much of that.
Yeah. As
Yeah.
you would prepare the meals as a little kid. There.
As a little kid preparing the meals, and
Yeah.
that was pretty much the staple in our home. And when she would get home, I would get a break, you know,
Right.
but
Yeah, that looks like. So we're baking this.
yeah, just about.
We're baking it
We're baking
in a
it
pan, but
in
we're
a-
not, yeah,
in a
not really
pan.
frying it up. Okay.
Right, and then that'll start cooking there. But we're going to let this marinate there for a little bit before we put it in the oven, because the complement to this is going to be what Chef
a
Eric
little
is going to make.
a little fresh pasta. You know, when Peter kind of described this dish, really reminded me of, you know, some of the things that I did in the Italian kitchens that I worked at, and I thought, you know, a nice fresh egg pasta would be a really good accompaniment.
It's like the balance that you were
cheese.
talking about. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And
What's
in
the next step?
And in addition to this, if you want some spice,
Yeah.
you can add a little bit of za'atarn, that's a crab oil. It gives it that kick. Okay, red crushed pepper will do the same thing, but if you have an option, if you want a little bit of more spice to it, because that crab oil would give it some spice, and I just love adding that to it. Yeah,
So this is like for what? The family, I guess, or
this is just about for a family of a 4,
Yeah.
5, you know, depending, because I mean, you can eat. I mean, I can eat the entire bowl by
Well, yeah,
myself,
it's a
but
shrimp lover.
you know, but
It's hard to say.
Yeah, but
the mood you're in at the time. I mean, again, shrimp can't go wrong.
yeah, yeah.
So we'll put it in the oven then.
Well, we're going to wait because he needs to make the
Oh, we're
pasta
going
first.
to okay.
We're gonna make pasta
So we're going to move
first.
over to that
I
side.
gotcha.
Yeah.
So fresh pasta is actually really easy to make. What I have here is about 9 ounces. This is what we call Italian double aught flour. It is a high protein flour, but then it also has, it's ground really fine.
Right.
So you get a really beautiful texture with this. I prefer using double aught flour to make pasta with. But you can make that, with just all-purpose flour, the stuff that you find at the grocery store.
Right.
So about 9 ounces of flour
You're mixing up eggs here?
right here, and I have 2 eggs and 4 yolks
Yeah.
in here.
It's kind of interesting how you're doing this as a little mound, but I know you're going to roll it out
Well,
anyway.
traditionally,
it's kinda fun that way.
this is how we make fresh pasta.
Yeah,
It was right there on the
right on
tabletop.
the table.
A lot of times, I do like to use a food processor just because it's really quick
Yeah.
that way. And then just about a teaspoon of salt goes in there as well. And we just mix
Wow, that's
a little flour in at a time.
it's like a school project.
Kind of looks like
It looks
a volcano,
like a fun
doesn't it?
thing that a kid would do. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, you mentioned where you were working in the restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
How long did that go on? Many years.
Many years.
Right.
And most of that time, spent as a pastry chef. But, I still do very much enjoy making pasta and other things. Like I said, Italian cookery is mostly what I'm familiar with.
So as a chef, so let's say you're not going to cook anything, what would you drive through and eat? May I ask?
What I drive through and eat.
What's your preference on that? What's your favorite pizza? Put it that way.
Oh, well, my favorite pizza in the world, that's pizza margherita. Tomatoes, basil, and mozzarella. And that's it.
Yeah.
It's simplicity at its best.
Yeah.
Most of my career I spent, making complex dishes and that sort of thing. What I really enjoy is just very simple things
Yeah.
to eat.
Well, all those dishes, it's flour, tomatoes, and cheese.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it.
Yeah. So once we have most of this egg mixed in, then we can just start kind of incorporating that.
Mm-hmm. So you're not going to add anything else, just getting it all clumped
No,
together
we're
and rolling
just,
it out.
Hydrating that flour with the eggs. And I'm just kneading all of that in. Another reason that
hard to do.
Another reason that I do like,
the food.
the food processor is
Yeah.
it contains the mess.
Yeah.
It's not as messy.
So that comes into play.
That will come into play. So what we want to do here, I've got about as much of that flour as I want to incorporate in there. And then we just knead that for about 10 minutes or so until it's all combined.
Wow. It's intensive amount of time and work then.
It is
to
time
make
and work.
fresh bread. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're just going to need that for about 10 minutes or so. But TV magic here.
TV magic. That's right.
And then it has to rest for about 30 minutes.
Okay.
Afterwards.
Yeah. So when that's done, 30 minutes later,
then you wind up
you
with
end
something,
up with something
that looks like this.
Yes. So in your classes, where do you start? You start with the basics, I guess.
Yeah. Basic food production is that first.
Is it bread? Is it vegetable or?
So
not as simple as that.
It's not as simple as that.
Yeah.
It's really just the basics of baking, of frying, all of the different techniques, and then learning to recognize flavor profiles.
Uh-huh.
Um,
That looks nice.
so roll that out slightly thin. We use just a little bit of flour here just to keep it from sticking.
That's
And then we have our
oh yeah.
pasta roller right here.
Oh, you're going to shred it. Wonderful. Oh, it's just smashing it even further.
Yeah.
Okay.
So two rollers.
So many things to do.
On there.
You tighten it up a little bit.
And every time you tighten it up, the rollers get a little closer to each other.
Yeah.
And you just go one notch at a time.
Yeah, that's a really fun thing. I haven't seen that before. Just a lot of people have this kind of blender, but that attachment is really neat.
Yeah. Now they make
How thin can you go?
these attachments for the KitchenAids. They also make hand rollers
Yeah.
as well if you don't have a KitchenAid.
Is it getting?
It's getting.
Are you taking a chance there, but falling apart? Or it's not going to. Is it?
No, it's not going to.
Let me just feel the texture of it. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty firm.
Wheat contains two proteins, gluten and ghalatin, and when they're combined with moisture, they make gluten, which are these elastic type
Right.
bonds, and that's where we get this really nice.
Oh yeah, it's really becoming
texture.
something long.
So do
Even more?
one
One more time?
more.
It's almost
just go.
translucent,
Almost.
yet strong. Wow, that's fun.
Yeah, it is.
People would
I don't
love
know if you
this.
can see through. You can
Oh yeah, I can
see
see
my
your hands.
hands?
Yeah. Okay.
And then as a general rule, about 12 to 14 inches. I kind of go from my middle finger to my elbow. Cut that. And then we can change.
We are changing over to now the slicer, I guess.
Yeah, this
That's what I
is
anticipated.
called
Okay, great.
a fettuccine cutter. You can see right in here
Yeah.
the form. So
The big moment. Well, why I'm acting so childish about it. It's just bread. It's just bread. It's fun. It's fun to cut
Yeah.
things.
well, that's why we become chefs, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's fun.
cut
It's just fun to cook because you're
Play with
cutting.
fire
right?
and cut
Exactly.
things.
Yeah. And it's a little work of art by the end of it.
Yep.
Yeah, that looks great.
So then we've got.
Now you leave it that long.
Couple
You're
orders.
not leaving it that
Yep.
long to eat it though. You're gonna cut
Oh
it.
yeah, no,
Leave it like
just
that, like that. Okay.
Yep.
What's next?
So I've got just a couple servings
Okay.
of pasta right there, and then basically from there, then we just drop that into our hot boiling water,
Okay.
and we have pasta.
Right.
So
It's time to put it in the oven, right?
Ready to put.
Let's
You need
cook
to
this
make sure.
thing.
You need to make sure that your oven has been preheated to 250 degrees.
Uh-huh.
So all we're going to do is just take the
it
shrimp,
in.
pop it in,
There we go.
place it in there, and let that cook for about 25 minutes.
25 minutes.
And we look at our timer, and the time is, okay, I know when.
All right, so we're going to see it. We're going to see it when we come back.
Here we
And
go.
when we come back, this will be cooked, and we'll check out Pete's shrimp. We're back now with this dish. We have the shrimp, we have the pasta. It's just about perfectly timed out. Let's take it out and see what we can eat.
Okay. Fresh egg pasta doesn't take very long.
So that's going to take like what, 2 minutes, 3 minutes?
3 minutes at the most.
Okay.
In some heavily salted water.
Couple more. Oh yeah, fresh pasta. So they're in 3 different little strainers too.
Yep.
How about that shrimp? Ready to take it out, Pete?
Shrimp is coming along.
All right, let's look at
Let's
this.
see what it looks like.
This is the moment.
All right. And as always, be careful because it is hot.
Super hot, kind of heavy. There we go.
There we go.
Yes, indeed.
And then as a final touch, what we
Thick
do
and gooey.
is that we add some
Yeah, that looks great.
some chives over the top.
So at this point, the whole family's like just salivating. Like,
Yeah, they're
hurry
just
up, give me
salivating
my-
and going like,
I
yeah.
want my-
And then we also take some parsley. Also,
Now you're saying like back home you'd serve this with rice.
yes. A lot of times we just have a nice pot of white rice and just grab a scoop of rice, put it on there on the side, take some of the sauce over the rice, take a couple of the shrimps to the side, garnish it if you want to, and voila, there you go.
That's.
And,
I was gonna ask for a bite. Still more?
then the last
lemon
touch.
juice?
The last touch is going to be the lemon juice to bring out that nice little
Oh, we gotta
dash.
get the pasta too.
There you go.
All right.
Those 3 things, and
So I think he's gonna plate some pasta. We'll get that shrimp and get a fork and go for it. You were talking before about how this is a dish you picked because of your just family tradition.
Yep. Family tradition is to be able to go out and catch, prepare, sit down at the table, and have a meal as a family. As a matter of fact, I was speaking to my wife about this happening today, and she says, "I hope you bring a recording, but also bring the dish back home." She's in
Yeah,
Panama
she
right now, visiting with family, and
Okay, yeah.
basically, we're going to go ahead and do this as a family.
Okay. Let's go ahead and get some shrimp going. We got just like about a minute left here.
Okay,
We'll give it a try.
Where we got this?
Is this hot, Chef Eric? Is this very hot?
That is very hot.
It looks like it might be a.
Does
a-
come out of the
a
boiling
wrist.
water.
Okay. It won't attach either. It's so slippery. You want to show this? That's the shot.
Look at this.
Yes, this is
Do you
it's
wanna
too
grab it
long.
with the
It's too
spoon
long.
and over,
I warned
or
you.
Yeah,
I wanted
yeah,
to make it so
spoon and
long.
over.
The spoon and over? Okay.
All right, we have reached the end of our first episode. Thank you so much, Chef Eric.
You're
You
very
guys so
welcome.
many things. We're gonna eat it. We're gonna eat it. But they're telling me like, you got to be quiet and stuff in this show. Thanks a lot, Pete, too,
Hey,
for
no
everything
problem.
you contributed, and you
All right,
cooked
thank
all this
you.
food.
Yeah.
Our first episode of Cooking at the College. Definitely going to do some more, so keep watching for that. And this has been fantastic. Yeah, what are you laughing at? Okay.